Neon crawled across the rain-slick streets of Neo-Tokyo, reflecting in the mirrored sheen of Detective Kira's trench coat. Her cybernetic eye buzzed, displaying the holographic address of her latest case, the Obsidian Spire, a luxury apartment complex reserved for the city's elite and rumored to hold more secrets than its obsidian facade. Kira adjusted her fedora, a relic from a bygone era, and pushed through the automatic doors. The lobby was a symphony of chrome and glass, a far cry from the grimy underbelly of Neo-Tokyo where Kira usually operated. An AI concierge, a smooth-faced android with a disconcertingly human smile, greeted her. "Detective Kira, welcome. Captain Vela's apartment awaits." Its voice was an unnaturally perfect monotone. Kira grunted, her gaze sweeping the opulent lobby. Captain Vela, a renowned spacer who captained the illustrious Lunar Zephyr, had vanished from her penthouse apartment 3 days prior. No forced entry, no witnesses, just a cold, sterile silence. The elevator hummed silently, whisking Kira to the top floor. Stepping out, she entered a world unlike anything she'd experienced. Floor-to-ceiling windows offered a breathtaking panorama of the neon-drenched city, but it was the floating garden that stole the show. Lush greenery pulsed with bioluminescent flora, creating an oasis within the steel and glass jungle. A sleek, metallic door stood guard at the end of the hallway. Kira scanned her retina, the door hissing open with a sigh. Inside, the apartment was a study in modern minimalism. There were no signs of struggle, no overturned furniture, just an unsettling stillness. Kira started with the neural interface, a device linked to Vela's apartment AI. "AI unit, identify last known activity." A disembodied voice filled the room. "Captain Vela entered the apartment 3 days ago at 2300 hours standard time. No further activity detected." No further activity? It was impossible. Even in the most reclusive moods, someone would leave a trace, a forgotten mug of coffee, a stray book. This felt wrong. Kira moved deeper into the apartment, her cybernetic eye scanning the room for any anomalies. An open closet caught her eye. Inside, Vela's usual captain's uniform was gone, replaced by an outfit more suited to a night on the town, a shimmering black dress and a pair of stiletto heels. It was an odd choice for Vela, a woman more comfortable navigating the vast emptiness of space than navigating the social complexities of Neo-Tokyo. A faint metallic scent hung in the air. Kira followed it to the balcony, finding a discarded cigarette, but unusual again. Vela didn't smoke. Suddenly, a flicker on the horizon caught her eye. A small, unidentified craft darted across the cityscape, vanishing into the neon haze. Kira's gut churned. Was it a coincidence, or was there a connection to Vela's disappearance? She returned inside and contacted her partner, a hulking cyborg named Rex with a penchant for sarcasm and oversized weaponry. "Rex, I need you to run a trace on that unidentified craft. Scramble the drones, I want eyes on every landing pad in the city." Rex's booming voice crackled over the comlink. "On it, boss. Just be careful up there in Billionaires Boulevard. Stepping on the wrong toes can be hazardous to your health, both organic and synthetic." Kira smirked. "Just watch my back, big guy." Night bled into morning as Kira combed through Vela's apartment. Data logs, personal messages, even old flight logs, nothing revealed a reason for her sudden disappearance. With a sigh, she turned to the holographic display, studying the city map. Her search had brought her no closer to Vela, but it had sparked a suspicion. Vela wasn't simply missing, she was hiding. She needed to think outside the box. Rummaging through Vela's belongings, she stumbled upon a worn leather-bound journal. Flipping through it, she found detailed sketches of strange symbols and cryptic notes about an abandoned research facility on the outskirts of Neo-Tokyo. It was a long shot, but it was the only lead she had. Rex joined her later, his cybernetic arm carrying a toolbox filled with his usual brand of unconventional gadgets. "No sign of the craft, boss. All leads dried up." There's something missing. Rex, look at this. Kira showed him the journal's contents. Rex frowned, his metallic brow creasing. Looks like ancient Martian script. Don't tell me you're thinking of playing Indiana Jones in a crumbling research facility? Maybe not Indiana Jones, Kira admitted, but we need answers. Let's go. The abandoned facility loomed like a skeletal giant against the smog-choked sky. Vines snaked through cracked windows, tendrils of rusty wire wound around rusted girders. Kira and Rex crept through the overgrown courtyard, their footsteps muffled by the thick layer of dust. The air was thick with an eerie silence, broken only by the distant howl of a coyote. They made their way inside, flashlight beams dancing across crumbling walls and fallen debris. The symbols Vela had sketched were etched into the concrete and metal, as if they were part of the very structure itself. It's like she knew this place was important, Kira murmured. Or maybe she just had a thing for ancient Martian art. Rex replied with a grunt, brushing aside a layer of cobwebs. They continued to explore, following a series of numbers etched into the floor that led them deeper into the heart of the facility. The symbols grew more numerous and complex, forming what appeared to be some sort of map. As they followed the map, they stumbled upon a hidden laboratory, its doors sealed shut by a biometric lock. Kira tried to hack it, but the system was too advanced for her to bypass. Rex, can you handle this? She asked, gesturing to her partner's impressive array of tools. Rex grinned, revealing a row of shining steel teeth. You bet your synthetic ass I can. He set to work, carefully dismantling the lock with a combination of brute force and delicate precision. With a click, the door swung open. Inside, a holographic display flickered to life, showing Vela's face. Kira, I knew you'd find me, she said, her voice weak but determined. I've been working on something incredible. Kira stepped forward, her heart racing. Vela, what is it? Why did you run away? It's dangerous, Kira, Vela replied, her eyes filled with fear and determination. My research, it could change everything. It could save us all. Save us from what? Rex asked, his voice gruff. From the end, Vela whispered. From the end of the world. The hologram flickered again, showing images of a desolate planet, its surface scarred by radiation and toxic waste. The Martians left their mark on Earth, all those years ago, Vela explained. But they left something else as well, a message. A warning. They knew what was coming, and they left the key to stop it. As the hologram continued to play, it showed Vela working tirelessly in her lab, deciphering ancient Martian texts and reconstructing long-lost technologies. I've found it, Kira, she said, her voice filled with awe. I've found the key to save our world. Kira felt a shiver of fear and excitement run down her spine. What is it? She asked, her voice barely audible. It's a machine, Vela replied. A machine that can cleanse the planet, that can reverse the damage that's been done. But it's dangerous. It needs to be activated at a specific moment, or it could destroy us all. And that's why you ran? Kira asked, understanding beginning to dawn on her. Vela nodded. I didn't want anyone to use it for their own ends. I didn't want anyone to have that kind of power. But now that you're here, Kira, I think you're the only one who can make the right choice. Kira felt a weight settling in her stomach. She knew that Vela trusted her, but the responsibility was crushing. I'll protect your research, she promised. I'll make sure it doesn't fall into the wrong hands. Rex stepped forward, his eyes gleaming with curiosity. And what about this machine, Vela? Can you tell us more about it? Vela sighed, her expression weary. It's called the Purifier, she said. It's designed to scrub the atmosphere of harmful toxins and radiation, restoring the planet to its original state. But it can only be activated during a brief window of time, when the Earth's magnetic field aligns with the ancient markers left behind by the Martians. If you try to activate it at any other time, it could cause irreparable damage. And when is this window? Kira asked, her heart racing. It happens every 500 years, Vela replied. It's coming up soon, and we don't have much time to prepare. Then we'd better get to work, Rex growled, clapping his hands together. We've got a world to save. Kira nodded, her mind already racing with possibilities. Vela, can you help us? She asked. Can you help us understand how to use the Purifier? Vela smiled weakly. Of course, Kira, she said. I'll do everything I can to help. As they stood there, surrounded by the ancient technology and the echoes of the past, Kira knew that they were on the brink of something historic. They were about to change the course of the world, and nothing would ever be the same again. The abandoned facility loomed like a skeletal giant against the smog-choked sky. Vines snaked through cracked windows, and rust gnawed at the metal frame. Kira adjusted the straps of her backpack, the worn leather journal nestled safely inside. Rex, ever the pragmatist, hefted a bulky plasma cutter from his toolbox. Let's hope this Martian script translates to a decent security clearance, Rex grumbled, eyeing the overgrown entrance. Kira scanned the building with her cybernetic eye, searching for weaknesses. There's a ventilation shaft on the side. We might be able to squeeze through. Rex raised a skeptical eyebrow. Squeeze? More like contort ourselves into pretzels. A wry smile played on Kira's lips. Just another day at the office, right? With a sigh, Rex followed Kira as they navigated a maze of overgrown pathways and crumbling outbuildings. The air hung heavy with the stench of decay and forgotten technology. Finally, they reached the ventilation shaft, a rusty metal maw barely wide enough for a human body. Taking a deep breath, Kira squeezed in first, the rough metal scraping against her trench coat. Rex followed with a muttered curse, his cybernetic arm proving less than ideal for the tight space. They crawled for what seemed like hours, the darkness punctuated only by the rhythmic squeaking of metal. Finally, the shaft opened into a darkened chamber. Deactivated machinery hummed with an eerie silence, covered in dust sheets that shimmered faintly in the moonlight filtering through a broken window. Kira pulled out a small EMP grenade, the blue light pulsing reassuringly in her hand. Just in case, she said, tossing it into the room with a practiced flick of her wrist. A wave of energy washed over the chamber, temporarily disabling any dormant security systems. Rex flicked on a high-powered flashlight, illuminating rows of dusty consoles and flickering monitors. The air crackled with a low electrical hum. Kira approached a console, its surface cracked and faded. She recognized the Martian symbols from the journal scattered across the buttons and screens. With a deep breath, she began to tap the buttons in a sequence gleaned from the journal notes. The room hummed to life. Lights flickered on, revealing rows of holographic displays and strange, pulsating pods filled with viscous green liquid. In the center of the room, a large holographic map flickered into existence, depicting a network of tunnels leading deep underground. Bingo! Rex muttered, his voice echoing in the vast chamber. Suddenly, a hidden speaker crackled to life. A distorted voice filled the room. Warning! Unauthorized access detected. Initiating lockdown sequence. Red lights strobed to life, and a metallic groan echoed through the chamber, as a massive metal door slammed shut, sealing off their only exit. Kira swore under her breath. They were trapped, and the deeper secrets of the facility were about to be revealed. Rex cursed as he rattled the door, but it didn't budge. Kira, can you hack the lock or something? She shook her head, her cybernetic eye narrowing. I can't access the system fast enough. We'll have to find another way out. She gestured at the holographic map, now flashing warnings in a variety of unfamiliar languages. The tunnels might lead to another exit. They began to explore the tunnel network, the air growing colder and more oppressive with each step. The tunnels were narrow, forcing them to crawl on their hands and knees. After what seemed like an eternity, they came upon a massive blast door, its controls flashing with an ominous red light. "This looks like the main vault," Rex muttered, running his hands over the controls. "If we can open this, we might find what we're looking for." Kira crouched beside him, studying the controls. "Rex, remember that we don't know what's inside. We could be walking into a trap." He shot her a look. "And we could be stuck in this tunnel forever. We have to take the risk." With a sigh, Kira nodded. She trusted Rex's instincts, and they both knew that time was running out. Carefully, she input the sequence of numbers and letters that she had memorized from the journal. The blast door groaned, and with a final metallic thud, it slid open, revealing a dimly lit chamber filled with strange machinery and glowing orbs. "This is it," Rex whispered, his voice hushed with awe. "The heart of the facility." Cautiously, they ventured inside, their footsteps echoing against the cold metal walls. The orbs pulsed with a sickly green light, casting eerie shadows across the chamber. In the center of the room, a massive machine towered over them, its complex network of tubes and wires seemingly alive with energy. "This is it," Kira whispered, her voice shaking. "This is what they've been hiding all these years." Rex nodded, his eyes darting between the machine and the holographic display above it. The display showed a schematic of the machine and its various components. "We have to figure out how to shut it down," he muttered, "before it's too late." They began to examine the machine, searching for a power switch or some sort of emergency shut-off mechanism. After several minutes of fruitless searching, they heard a click, and the machine began to hum to life. A bright light flared to life at its heart, bathing them in its eerie glow. "Oh," Rex muttered. "I think it's starting up." As they watched in horror, the machine began to shudder, its components whirring into action. A ripple of energy spread through the chamber, causing the orbs to flicker and dance wildly. The blast door they had just opened slammed shut with a deafening clang, sealing them inside. "Kira," Rex said, his voice tight with fear, "I think we're in deep trouble now." He banged on the blast door, but it didn't budge. The machine continued to thrum, its energy building to a terrifying crescendo. The air grew hotter, the orbs glowing brighter. "We have to find a way to stop it," Kira cried, her eyes darting around the chamber. She spotted a panel on the wall, blinking an urgent code. "Maybe we can shut it down from here." Rex raced over to the panel, his fingers flying over the keys. "I'm trying, but I can't get it to respond." He slammed his fist against the wall in frustration. "We're running out of time." As they watched, a holographic display flickered to life above the machine. A disembodied voice boomed out, speaking in a language they didn't understand. The machine groaned, its energy spiking, and the orbs exploded in a shower of sparks and shattered glass. The chamber was plunged into darkness, save for the eerie glow of backup lights. "Are you okay?" Rex asked, helping Kira to her feet. She nodded, her breath coming in ragged gasps. "I think we did it. The machine is dead." Cautiously, they made their way back to the blast door, trying to find the control to open it. After several tries, the door groaned open, revealing the tunnel beyond. They hurried through, grateful to be out of the chamber and back in the familiar darkness. "I don't know how long it'll take them to realize the machine's down," Kira said, wiping sweat from her brow. "But we should find a way to get the information out, just in case." Rex nodded, his face pale. "You're right. We can't risk them doing this all over again." Together, they made their way deeper into the tunnel network, their hearts still racing from the terrifying ordeal they had just survived. They knew they needed to find a way to get word out about the machine's existence and the danger it posed. As they continued to navigate the darkness, they began to discuss their options. "We could try to contact someone we trust from outside," Rex suggested. "Maybe someone who can help us expose the truth about the machine." Kira shook her head. "No, that's too risky. They might not believe us, or they might be caught. We need proof." They pressed on, debating their options as they went. Eventually, they reached a small chamber with a hidden compartment in the wall. Inside, they found a crumpled piece of paper and a tiny data chip. Examining it, they realized it was a map and a list of names. The map led to a secure location outside the facility, while the names were those of people who had known about the machine and its purpose. "This could be our chance," Rex whispered. "We can take this to the people on this list and see if they'll help us." Kira nodded grimly. "We have to move quickly. We don't know how long it'll be before they realize the machine is down." They followed the map, careful to avoid detection. The secure location turned out to be a small safe house in the middle of nowhere, guarded by men and women who had dedicated their lives to fighting against the machine's evil purpose. When they finally arrived, the occupants were stunned to hear their story and to see the evidence they had gathered. "We've been working in secret for years," one of the leaders said, her voice trembling with emotion. "We've lost so many good people trying to stop this. But now, with your help, we might actually have a chance." As the sun began to rise over the horizon, they huddled together, making plans to take down the machine and those responsible for its creation. Rex and Kira looked at each other, a newfound sense of determination burning in their eyes. They had come too far, seen too much to turn back now. They were committed to seeing this through to the end, no matter the cost. The safe house leader nodded solemnly. "You two have given us the break we've been waiting for. We'll get you trained up, give you whatever resources you need to bring this nightmare to an end." They shook hands, sealing their alliance, and Rex and Kira felt a weight lift off their shoulders. For the first time since they'd discovered the machine, they had a real chance of making a difference. As they began their training, they learned about the machine's creators and their twisted vision for the world. The machine was just one part of a larger, diabolical plan to control the masses through fear and manipulation. It was their job to stop them, and they knew that every second counted. The weeks that followed were filled with intense training sessions and briefings. Rex and Kira learned how to use a variety of weapons, how to navigate the labyrinthine tunnels, and how to gather intelligence without being detected. They met other agents who had been fighting against the machine for years, and they shared stories of loss, courage, and resilience. Finally, the day came when they were deemed ready for their first mission. The plan was to infiltrate the main facility where the machine was housed, gather more evidence, and disable it once and for all. The stakes had never been higher, but Rex and Kira knew that they were prepared. They stood side by side, shoulders squared, determined to see this through to the end. As they crept through the darkness, their senses heightened by months of training, they couldn't help but marvel at the strength of their bond. It was a bond forged in adversity, tested in the fires of hell, and tempered by their shared determination to make the world a better place. They knew that together, they could accomplish anything. The main facility loomed ahead, a fortress of steel and concrete casting an oppressive shadow against the pale dawn sky. Kira adjusted the grip on her silenced pistol, her heart hammering a steady rhythm against her ribs. Rex, a blur of dark camouflage beside her, hefted his plasma cutter with a practiced ease. They had infiltrated the facility countless times in simulations, but the reality was different. A labyrinth of sterile corridors buzzing with a low hum of unseen machinery. "Remember the plan," Kira murmured, her voice barely a whisper over the comm system. "Rex, you take point. Get us to the data core. I'll cover your back." Rex grunted in acknowledgement, his cybernetic eye flickering as it scanned the security grid ahead. With a silent nod, they darted forward, their movements a well-rehearsed dance of agility and precision. They bypassed the first security checkpoint with practiced ease, Rex using his hacking skills to disable the motion sensors and security cameras. Deeper into the facility, the air grew colder, thick with the metallic tang of recycled air. The sterile white corridors were replaced by dimly lit maintenance tunnels, a network of steel catwalks snaking through the facility's underbelly. As they navigated the maze of pipes and conduits, Kira's cybernetic eye picked up a faint heat signature flickering ahead. Intruder alert! A metallic voice echoed through the tunnel's red emergency lights strobed to life, bathing the passage in an ominous glow. Kira cursed under her breath. They had been spotted. Go, go, go! Rex barked, shouldering his way through a metal access hatch. Kira followed close behind, the adrenaline surging through her veins. They sprinted through the cramped service corridors, the metallic clang of their boots echoing in the confined space. Behind them, the unmistakable whine of pursuit drones filled the air. Rex glanced back, a grim smile twisting his lips. Looks like they brought out the big guns. He slammed his fist against the control panel, sparks flying as he overloaded the circuit. A section of the tunnel floor gave way with a hiss, sending a shower of sparks and debris cascading down into the shaft below. The drone screeched to a halt, hovering precariously at the edge of the newly formed chasm. Nice work, Kira grunted, impressed by Rex's quick thinking. But their reprieve was short-lived. A new wave of footsteps echoed through the tunnel, growing louder with each passing second. They rounded a corner to find themselves face to face with a squad of heavily armed security guards. The guards, clad in black body armor, leveled their weapons at the intruders. The leader, a woman with a cybernetic eye that mirrored Kira's own, spoke in a cold, emotionless voice. You shouldn't be here. Kira held her ground, her gaze unwavering. We're here to stop you. To stop the machine. The leader's lips curled into a sneer. The machine is our salvation. It will cleanse this world and usher in a new era. A new era built on lies and control. Rex countered, his voice laced with steel. We know the truth about the machine. We know what you're planning. A tense silence descended upon the group. The security guards shifted nervously, their fingers twitching around the triggers of their weapons. The leader's eyes flickered with a flicker of uncertainty. Do you? She challenged, her voice cracking ever so slightly. Kira took a deep breath, her mind racing. This was their chance. Their chance to plant a seed of doubt, to turn the tide. The machine isn't a savior, she said, her voice ringing with conviction. It's a weapon. A tool for those who seek to enslave humanity. Don't you see what you're fighting for? The leader's gaze darted between Kira and her team, a flicker of internal struggle reflected in her cybernetic eye. For a long moment, it seemed as though time itself held its breath. Then, with a sigh that seemed to carry the weight of the world, the leader lowered her weapon. Stand down, she commanded her men, her voice heavy with defeat. The guards hesitated, then slowly lowered their weapons. A wave of relief washed over Kira, her legs threatening to buckle beneath her. They had won, not through violence, but through the power of truth. The leader gestured towards the deeper tunnels. Follow me, she said, her voice barely a whisper. I'll show you the truth about the machine. With a newfound sense of urgency, Kira and Rex followed the leader deeper into the labyrinthine heart of the facility. As they descended further, the air grew colder, the hum of machinery a constant thrumming in their ears. Finally, they reached a massive blast door, its surface etched with strange symbols. The leader placed her hand on a biometric scanner, her fingers trembling slightly. A holographic display sprang to life above the scanner, projecting a series of complex mathematical equations and cryptic diagrams. As the leader began to input codes and patterns, the images shifted and rearranged themselves, slowly revealing the truth about the machine. Kira and Rex watched in awe as the hologram revealed the machine's true purpose: to harness and control the minds of the populace, turning them into unquestioning servants of those in power. The machine was not a savior, but a tool of oppression, a weapon designed to enslave humanity. This is why we had to stop you, Kira breathed, her eyes fixed on the holographic display. This machine is the end of freedom, the end of choice. If it's activated, we'll all be nothing more than puppets. The leader nodded grimly. I knew what I was working on, but I never thought it would come to this. I was foolish, naive. She gestured toward the blast door, which began to slide open with a heavy groan. This is where it all began. This is where they brought in the first subjects for testing. Steeling themselves, Kira and Rex followed the leader through the opening, into a dimly lit chamber. Rows of cold metal cells lined the walls, each one containing a person strapped to a strange contraption that resembled a cross between a medical examination table and a computer terminal. The people in the cells were all unconscious, their minds trapped within the machine. As Kira and Rex approached, they could feel the machine's malevolent presence washing over them, like a chill wind from the grave. "We have to free them," Rex murmured, his voice barely audible over the hum of the machine. "We have to shut this thing down." The leader nodded, her expression resolute. "And we will. But we must be careful. The machine's defenses are formidable, and it will not go quietly. We must disrupt its control network, sever its connection to the outside world. Only then can we truly free the people trapped within." Kira and Rex exchanged a glance, understanding dawning in their eyes. They had a plan, a chance to make things right. Working together, they began to methodically dismantle the machine, disconnecting wires and ripping out circuit boards. The air around them grew thick with the smell of ozone and burning plastic as sparks flew and warning lights strobed the walls. As they worked, the people in the cells began to stir, their eyes fluttering open. Slowly, they sat up, looking around in confusion and disbelief. The weight of the machine's control seemed to lift from their minds, and for the first time in who knows how long, they felt free. One by one, they climbed out of their cells, stumbling towards Kira and Rex in gratitude. They embraced them, tears streaming down their faces, as they shared in the knowledge that they had truly been saved. "You don't understand," the leader said, her voice thick with emotion. "You're the first ones to see the truth. You're the ones who can make a difference. It's up to you now to spread the word, to fight for freedom, and to never let this happen again." The group stood in silence, the weight of the moment pressing down upon them. They looked to each other for strength and guidance, and in that moment, a newfound bond was forged. They were no longer simply prisoners or guards, but a united front against tyranny, a force to be reckoned with. As the first rays of dawn crept through the bars of the cell, they knew that their fight was far from over. But for now, they were free, and they had each other. And that, they knew, was a powerful thing. The flickering emergency lights cast an eerie glow on the faces of the newly formed alliance. Exhaustion hung heavy in the air, but a newfound resolve burned brighter in their eyes. Kira adjusted the weight of her pistol, the worn leather journal secured in her backpack. Rex, ever the pragmatist, ran a diagnostic check on his battered plasma cutter. "We can't stay here," the leader, now revealed as Anya, said, her voice hoarse but firm. "They'll know something's wrong soon. We need to get you out of here, and get this information out to the world." Kira nodded. The data chip they had retrieved from the safe house contained everything, proof of the machine's existence, its purpose, and the identities of those behind it. It was a bombshell, and they needed to get it into the right hands. "We have contacts in the media," Anya continued. "People who've been sniffing around the facility for years. They'll know what to do with this." Rex hefted the data chip in his hand, its weight a tangible symbol of their hope. "All right, then let's get moving. The sooner the world knows the truth, the better." Their escape was a blur of adrenaline-fueled action. Anya led them through a labyrinth of forgotten maintenance tunnels, their progress hampered by the growing number of security forces searching for them. They fought their way through, utilizing their combined skills and the element of surprise. Finally, they reached an abandoned subway station hidden beneath the city. A rusty train car sat on the tracks, its engine sputtering to life with a cough and a groan. Anya climbed into the driver's cabin, her fingers flying over the controls. "This is our only way out," she said, glancing back at them. "Get in. It won't be a smooth ride." Kira and Rex exchanged a look, then clambered aboard. The train lurched forward, groaning in protest as it rattled through the darkness. Anya expertly navigated the crumbling tunnels, the flickering lights revealing murals depicting a forgotten age on the grimy walls. After what felt like an eternity, the train emerged from a tunnel into a hidden network of abandoned stations. Here, a network of resistance fighters had carved out a haven, a place where whispers of rebellion could take root. Anya introduced them to a wizened old man with a kind face and eyes that held the weight of 1,000 battles. He was Darius, the leader of the resistance. As they explained their ordeal and presented the data chip, Darius listened intently, a flicker of hope igniting in his gaze. "This is what we've been waiting for," he said, his voice raspy but strong. "Proof. With this, we can expose those who would enslave humanity. We can rally the people to our cause." The following days were a whirlwind of activity. Darius, a master strategist, devised a plan to disseminate the information. The data chip was copied and distributed through a network of trusted contacts, journalists, activists, anyone with a platform to reach the masses. The news of the machine's existence sent shockwaves through Neo-Tokyo. People took to the streets in protest, their outrage fueled by a thirst for freedom. The city, once a monument to control, became a battleground for the minds and hearts of its citizens. Kira and Rex found themselves at the forefront of the fight. They used their skills to train resistance fighters, to infiltrate and disrupt the operations of the machine's creators. Anya, haunted by her past but resolute in her newfound purpose, became their right hand, her knowledge of the facility invaluable. The fight was long and arduous. There were casualties, setbacks, moments of despair. But the Alliance persevered, their resolve fueled by the faces of those they were fighting for. In the end, it was a combination of factors that brought about the downfall of the machine's creators. Public pressure mounted, their grip on power loosening with each passing day. Internal conflicts arose as those who had blindly followed the cause began to question its true goals. Finally, the inevitable happened. The resistance, bolstered by a wave of public support, stormed the main facility. A fierce battle ensued, the fate of the city hanging in the balance. Kira and Rex fought side by side with Anya, their bond forged in the fires of revolution. In the final confrontation, they faced the mastermind behind the machine, a ruthless individual who believed that humanity needed to be saved from itself, even if it meant sacrificing their free will. The battle was brutal, a clash of ideals and ideologies. In the end, it was Rex, with a well-placed blast from his plasma cutter, who disabled the machine's central core. The once thrumming heart of the facility fell silent, plunging the room into darkness. As the dust settled, Kira surveyed the scene. The man behind the machine lay crumpled, a defeated figure amidst the wreckage. A cheer erupted from behind her, a wave of relief and triumph washing over the resistance fighters. But Kira knew the victory was bittersweet. The city outside was still rebuilding, scarred but determined. The fight had exposed deep divisions within the society, raising questions about the true meaning of freedom in a world where technology wielded such power. Darius, his weathered face etched with exhaustion and newfound hope, placed a hand on Kira's shoulder. "We did it," he rasped, his voice thick with emotion. Kira nodded, her gaze lingering on the smoldering remains of the machine. "We did," she echoed, the weight of the words heavy on her tongue. "But the fight for freedom is never truly over, is it?" Darius smiled sadly. "No, child. It is a constant struggle. But now, we have a chance to build something better, something where people are free to choose their own destiny." Turning away, Kira spotted Rex leaning against the wall, his mechanical arms sparking faintly. A ghost of a smile played on his lips. He caught her eye and gave her a curt nod, a silent acknowledgement of their shared journey. There was a long road ahead, filled with challenges and uncertainties. But for the first time in a long time, Kira felt a flicker of hope. They had faced the darkness and emerged stronger, united by a cause greater than themselves. As she stood there, bathed in the faint light filtering in from the outside world, Kira knew this was just the beginning. The fight for freedom had taken root, and she, Rex, Anya, and countless others would be there, at the forefront, ready to defend it. The story of Neo Tokyo was far from over, but a new chapter, one filled with the promise of a brighter future, had begun. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please subscribe to stay updated with our latest stories, give us a like if you want to see more, and drop a comment below to let us know your thoughts.